How you guys doing today? Oh, okay, I can hear myself now. Well, I'm that guy there on the screen. My name is Daniel Grant. I am a Orlando resident, and I have so much feelings for this video that I just seen. I'm not just saying that to pull on you guys' heartstrings. That's not the type of person I am. I was actually a recipient of Hope Helps for about 5 years, myself and my family. I just want to share a little bit about who I am and just kind of give my testimony of why I'm here at 8 o'clock in the morning when I should be busing my kids off to school. So if you could oblige me in that. I want to read this quote. It says, "Subjective poverty describes poverty that is composed of many dimensions. It is subjectively present when your actual income does not meet your expectations and perceptions. With the concept of subjective poverty, the poor themselves have a greater say in recognizing when it is present." The poor themselves. Growing up, I never knew that I was poor. I'm a first-generation American. My mom immigrated here from Honduras. My father served this country for many years in Desert Storm, but I never knew that I was poor. You couldn't have told me anything different. Looking at me today, you're probably like, man, you were never poor. Like, you never went through anything. But I did. I went through a lot. In 2001, when the towers went down and we were attacked, because I had dual citizenship, I had to choose between the two countries as far as where my homeland was going to be. And because I'm American born, my mother chose the greater country. And so I became an all-around U.S. citizen, not having citizenship no longer of Honduras. But there were some repercussions that came with that. One of those things was that we lived in poverty. We had no more ties to our homeland. We had nothing at all. But I'll just fast forward to give you guys a quicker story. By 2007, my mother was working 3 jobs with 5 kids. It was boys. Yeah, all boys. She couldn't catch a break. It was just pee everywhere, all the time. but she was proud, and she worked very hard, and we bounced around from town to town looking for stability. But by 2007, she had saved enough money for her to buy a house in the heart of the city, and she did. We fast forward. We didn't know that in spring 2008, as most of the people in the room know, that we were going to go into a recession. It was probably one of the most detrimental things that this country has ever seen, ever. But we went through it, and we rallied through it, and we got through it. For me and my family, not so much. For about 3 years, we spent being homeless, and I bounced around from hospital, because the hospital sometimes, if you check into the hospital, you can get a place to stay for the night. So we bounced around from car to hospital to car. So I vowed that I would never, ever put myself or my family in that position again. For many years, I blamed my mother. I had no hope. I returned home from a trip back when I was a child, and I remember my mother renting out one of the rooms in our apartment, which is illegal, by the way, right? But she rented out the apartment to a woman that was homeless on the street, and I seen the level of compassion that she had. Even with having nothing, she still gave something. And yes, she was trying to make some money so that her kids can, eventually live and grow and be prosperous. But she rented out that apartment, and the lady's name was Hope. So I thought it was kind of funny I'd share that. She went on to be my aunt. My uncle ended up marrying her, and she's a part of my family. But she has a big part in my story. She inspired me to go to school for cosmetology, and I did. And I went to school for cosmetology. I became a licensed barber. And fast forward to 2014, I end up finding a place to live here in Orlando, trying to start a barbershop with the capital that I had raised in Boston. And here I am in Orlando, finding a new purpose. My Aunt Hope had reminded me that it didn't matter where you came from, but it mattered who you thought you were and where you thought you were going, and that was the most important thing. And so my family and I ended up moving here, and within months, the investors that I had in my barbershop ended up pulling out. They pulled out completely from the deal. For some reason, they didn't trust me or something of the fact. But what ended up happening was I was desperate looking for hope, desperate looking for some type of grace from people. I ended up going over to an organization that's out in Sanford, and that organization had this caseworker there. She was actually in transition on her way to a job in Oviedo. Could you guys guess what organization that is? It ended up being Hope Helps. She was transitioning from Christian Service Center to Hope Helps, and she had some experience in cosmetology as well. She mentored me. She spoke to me about things that only people in the business can understand. Her name was Carmela Nichols. She was my case manager, but she was also a mentor of mine. And as many of you know, she passed away tragically in a car crash. Carmela meant a lot to my family, a lot to me and to my wife and to my children. She knew us by name. And Hope Helps, and the clients and the staff, there was just this environment of love that we were ingrained in. And she stewarded that well. Aleka and Pam and Miss Kim and just so many people around in this place that I can thank. But as a prior recipient to Hope Helps, I was served with dignity. And I can't tell you guys how much it actually means to a person who is living in poverty to walk inside of a pantry, to be dignified, to pick out your own groceries. And there are some people in this room who provide services and who provide money that go to that same cause. And I believe that your donations is the reason why I'm here, to stand here today. I am now working in the same similar work that Carmela was working in. No longer a licensed barber, but as a community engagement manager. I'm working with my church, Discovery Church, as of right now. I'm actually on staff with them as well. And I'm indebted to you guys, to Joan. Joan, you calling me the other day meant the world to me, to get up and speak about what Hope Helps has done for me and my family. Christmas time and after school bashes and book bags that I couldn't afford. And you guys made it possible. Some of you guys in here know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm in debt to you guys. And I'm so grateful for the love, the support, the finances that you guys have poured into this program. And I just want you guys to sit with that last thought, that this is not a game for me. This is real life. It's real life. That even when you're educated, you've come from hard times, that you can still end up in poverty. It can happen to anyone. And I just want to thank you guys for what you've done and what you're going to do. So that's my time. Thank you.